Okay, so this is like the third time I'm refilming this video, but it's whatever. Let's do it anyway. Hey everyone, Jack here. Welcome back to another video. And in this video, I thought we'd take a look back at some of the new releases for the first half of 2023, as well as some cubes that have remained prominent in the competition scene, and yeah, put them up in a tier list. So I've gathered 16 of them, and before we get into that, allow me to preface a few things first. Okay, so before we start, allow me to preface three main things. First things first, obviously, this is all my opinion, so don't take it as gospel since I'm not the most qualified to talk about all these cubes, but I still wanted to share what I thought about them anyway. The second thing is that though I don't own all of these cubes, I have tried them enough at competitions for me to feel like I have formed a well-developed opinion on them. But again, you know, discussions can be made. And then the last thing is the overall flow of this video. So there's going to be 5 tiers: D, C, B, A, and S. And the way I'm going to lay out, the way I'm going to make these tiers flow is that first things first, I will define each tier as we go. So for example, if we're talking about the B tier, we're going to talk about what it means for a cube to be in B tier. Then after that, we're going to talk about the cubes that I put in the B tier. And then lastly, I'm going to round up and show you the tier list so far at the end of each tier, except the D tier, since spoilers, there's only one cube in the D tier. And yeah, that's all. So hope you enjoy all my ramblings, and yeah, hope you get to learn something from this. Let's first talk about what it means for a cube to be in D tier. So basically, D tier cubes are complete flops. They are cubes that I would just never recommend. No matter what you're looking for, especially for competitive, it's just generally a cube that shouldn't be used and isn't viable at all for competition. So without further ado, number 16 and our only entry for D tier is the Swift block. Oh wow, what a surprise! Who would have thought? Yeah, the Swift block is in D tier. It is GAN's second attempt at entering the budget cube market after Monster Go, though I think they're still going on with Monster Go, but I guess they just decided to add another subsidiary because why the hell not? But yeah, per se, I don't really like the Swift block. It literally does what it calls itself in the name. It blocks you from being swift, which absolutely sucks. And yeah, most Swift block users I've been seeing are usually just people who don't have enough money for a gang cube, and to which I'd say, okay, I mean, the cube's a gang cube, that's it. And yeah, aside from collection purposes, just don't get this cube. It's not worth your time and money. This will probably get discontinued quickly because everyone hates it. So get someone you can so you can scalp them on eBay or something. Don't do that. Scalping is like very douchebaggy. So yeah, that's number 16, the Swift block. Now, now that's, as I said earlier, that's the only entry for the D tier. So yeah, I'm not gonna show the tier list up to this point because we only have one entry in. But now let's talk about the next tier, C tier. So C tier cubes, honestly, is on a whole nother level compared to D tier cubes. I think that these cubes are just are viable, just viable. Like, I mean, you can't go wrong with them in a competition. They're either cubes that are like only a very specific person would want to use, or would a very specific person is asking me for. Like yeah, they're like very specific about their taste, or they're just really outdated cubes to the point where I just say, why even bother get this cube in the first place? So yeah, let's start with number 15, Burger King foot lettuce. You guys never heard of the Burger King foot lettuce cube? That's absolutely disgusting. I am so disappointed. Nah, I'm kidding. But the real number 15 is the Moyu Welang WR in 2021 Lite, or just the regular Worm 2021. It's kind of a bit weird that I place this above the Swift block. Not because the cube is bad, it's good. And that's the thing. It's so weird to place it with the like right next to the Swift block when this cube is just miles better than it. But in my opinion, it feels a bit too unstable, mainly because of the springs and the more friction, and because of the more friction that springs put on a cube, the magnets don't really feel the way they're supposed to work. So it generally just feels floppy. And I mean, if you set them up well, if you give it a CH magnetic core kit, then I guess it's good. But now you don't really need it. It's yeah, you don't really need it. So if you want to get a Worm 2021 for some reason, then just get the maglev. I'll talk about it later on in this video. Okay, the next cube on this list, number 14, is this cube. This is the GAN 11M Pro, GAN's 2020 flagship. Now, I'm kind of infamous for dunking on the GAN 11M Pro, but I realized that GAN cubes really are just trial and error when it comes to setting them up. And now, when I came back to cubing, this was the cube that I started using because I gave it another shot and I really enjoyed it. But I put it this low on this list because why would you get this? I mean, it's a decent cube, I guess, but why would you get this when the GAN 12, 13, and hell, the 14 in a couple of months already exists? So yeah, I'm not really putting it this low on this list because it's a bad cube, but more like, why would you need this if, again, the GAN 12, 13, and 14 already exist? So yeah, that's number 14, the GAN 11M Pro. Alright, the next cube on this tier list, number 13, is the Moyu Weilong GTS 3M. I've still been seeing these. I hope Brenton Wong isn't watching this video because he'll probably kill me after hearing this, but yeah, I put it in number 13. So the Weilong GTS 3M, I'm putting it this low in this list for the same reason as I'm putting the GAN 11M Pro this low in the list, which is really, why would you want this if the Worm 2019 exists, if the Worm 2021 and the Worm V9 aren't good fits for you? Why would you want this if the Worm 2019 exists? This also feels a bit too hard for my personal liking, and yeah, that's it really. I don't really have anything else to say. Alright, so number 12 is the Chi M Pro. So this is Chi's entry into the budget cube market because, oh, we love companies trying to challenge Moyu for the title of best budget cube maker. But honestly, the Chi M Pro isn't anything special, though it feels like a budget Tornado V3 and budget Worm V9 combined with a little bit of the Yushinolo magic, if you remember that cube. It still feels like your run-of-the-mill, harsh and sandy, cheap budget cube. And it basically just doesn't feel anything special for me to rank it over the Super RS3M and the RS3M 2020, wherever they are on this list. So yeah, that's number 12, the Chi M Pro. Alright, number 11 and our last entry for C tier is the X-Men Tornado V2. So the reason why I put it this low on this list is for the same reason that I told you for the GAN 11M Pro and the GTS 3M. Why would you get it when the X-Men Tornado V3 exists? I mean, yes, it feels good and the corner cutting could use some work, but the X-Men Tornado V3 literally solved all of that, so unless for collection purposes, why bother? Of course, unless you need like some warm-up or something, but other than that, there's no point getting the Tornado V2 these days. And that rounds up the C tier. Here's what the tier list looks like so far. Now we are getting into the B tier. So these cubes are still a selective recommendation. In a sense that, oh, you have to tell me you're into this type of cube before I can recommend this to you. And even then, it's a cube that I feel a bit unsure about. But I mean, again, you can't really go wrong with it. Anything C tier and above really are cubes that are viable for competition, but they're not my favorites. So yeah, let's start with number 10, the Huameng YS3M. So yeah, the YS3M, I don't know. It's kind of mid. I don't know what everyone's going on about it being like a really good cube. I mean, yeah, okay. I guess it's a big deal that Luke Garrett got the 344 WR2 single, and God knows how many of his five averages. But yeah, for me, I'm not a huge fan of the YS3M. You have to tell me you are a hardcore fan of stable and blocky cubes before I can even tell you to get this cube. And I guess it's also good for OH, but I prefer the Worm V9 for that job, which I'll talk about later, again, wherever it is in this list. So yeah, that's number 10, the Huameng YS3M. Okay, number 9. It's the Moyu Weilong WRM 2019. So this cube was released, a year after the GTS 3M. It was basically the hotfix because people were complaining about the ridges, and they also gave it lighter magnets because why the hell not? But yeah, I've been seeing people still use this cube. I mean, it's good. It's good. If you still like that harsh GTS 3M feel, then yeah, definitely get this cube over the GTS 3M, unless you like ridges for some reason. And yeah, that's about it. Number 9, the Worm 2019. Okay, number 8. This is another one of my controversial opinions. We have the Moyu Super RS3M V2. I know, right? It's a good cube. Don't get me wrong. I actually really like the feel of it. But I have to nerf it down like really badly because, Moyu. I don't know what Moyu's trying to do with this cube, man. Like it hasn't even been 3 months since the release of the Worm V9 when they released that cube. And then they were like, all right, guys, here's the Super RS3M V2. It hasn't even been a year yet since we released the original Super RS3M, but whatever, here it is. It's also more expensive than its Worm V9 counterparts. Here, have it, enjoy it. I mean, all versions are UV coated, which is pretty cool, but other than that, why? Like, I thought the Super RS3Ms, I thought the RS3Ms are supposed to be the budget cube. They're supposed to be the cube that gets you a good deal for a cheap price, but they didn't really do that with the RS3M V2. And it makes you wonder, where does Moyu want to go with this series? What is the best that Moyu wants to offer? I mean, yes, the YS3M is already them releasing the Worm V9 after the YS3M was a bit of a questionable decision, but you can just brush that off as just, them, releasing after a subsidiary. It's not really exactly them that wants to advertise it, but of course, since it's a subsidiary, it's going to be recognized as a Moyu Cube. But now, it's not the case. Like 2 months after the Worm V9's release, they released the Super RSUM V2 under the same name. They're both known as Moyu. Yeah, it's just a really questionable decision. I mean, if you want a cube that feels like the Moyu Weilong GTS V1, then sure, get this cube. But other than that, I can't really recommend it. All right, number 7, we have the GAN 13 Maglev. Yes, the 2022 flagship of GaNCube. It's a bit weird now that the GAN 14 has been officially announced. But oh well, we'll just save that for the end of the year tier list. If I'm ever still cubing by then, I hope I am. But yeah, the reason why I've ranked it this I guess low in the tier list, like barely scraping the top half of cubes in this list, is really because I feel like the cube is just a bit too extreme. Like the magnet lengths are crazy, like both for the corner magnets and the edge repelling magnets. Like when you turn it, it genuinely feels like you're finding this cube. So yeah, although you can't go wrong with it, although the unboxing experience is cool, yeah, it's not my thing. And I also don't really like the new tool. Like, yes, it's just simple and unified, but they literally just gave you a SIM ejector tool for... they give you a SIM card ejector tool for a tensioning tool. Unlike the one for the GAN 12, where it is like bigger than the one in the GAN 13, but at least it's still like 1P. It's a unified tool with 2 ends for specific functions. It's just weird that they make do with a SIM card ejector tool to set up your cube. So yeah, number 7, the GAN 13. All right, number 6, the last entry for the B tier, we have the Moyu Weilong WRM 2021 Mag Glove. I think this was a needed upgrade. Even without the Cuber's Home Magnetic Core Kit, I think this cube is just way better than the original, and it feels way better to solve on, and it's in general just a really fun cube to use. Of course, I like my 55mm cubes. And other than that, there's not much to say. If you don't like the somewhat rounded corners of the Worm V9, but you still want to feel that raw speed in the mag glove, then get the Worm 2021 mag glove. Alright, that wraps up the B tier, and this is what it looks like so far. And now we're down to the last 5 cubes. I wonder what they are. Well, I know what they are, but put your predictions in the comments if you want. And yeah, let's get straight into it. So, before we move on to the S tier, of course there's the A tier, which are cubes that are actually really, really good. They're some of my favorites, in fact, but they need to be, like, you need to tell me you want something like that fits the category of the 2 cubes that I'll be talking about in the A tier. So yeah, they're not an unconditional recommendation from me, either because they have to be of specific taste, or of specific price range, stuff like that. But other than that, let's talk about A tier. So number 5, and the first entry of the A tier, we have the GAN 12 Mag Glove. Yes, I actually have a GAN 12. Actually, this isn't mine. This is wait, T Gamer. This is T Gamer's GAN 12. I borrowed it off him because I wanted to try this cube out for myself. And as I said earlier with the GAN 11, setting this up really is just trial and error. But once you get to the settings that you like, it's really good. I think that, yeah, for a Moyu fanboy like me, I think this cube still performs really well, and I enjoy solving on it. And I get slightly above my average times on this cube, but that's alright. I enjoy this cube a lot, and of course you get free AirPods with it. So how can you go wrong, aside from the fact that it has a $60 price tag? However, when the GAN 14 releases, that might actually not be true anymore, but it's whatever. We'll wait out before the markdowns happen because of the release of the GAN 14. But yeah, that's number 5, the GAN 12. Alright, number 4, we have the Super RS3M V1. I do not have mine with me. I gave it to a friend, but yeah, I put this in A tier because of a cube I'll be talking about in the S tier. But other than that, it's pretty good. I think it requires a bit more setup than the RS3M 2020, but overall, really good cube. Like, what else can I say about it? And that wraps up the A tier. So this is what the tier list looks like now. As you can see, the list is finally starting to take some shape, and yeah, but of course we have one last tier to cover, literally the best of the best cubes that I would just recommend unconditionally, and for good reason. These cubes are absolutely amazing. It's the top 3, the S tier cubes. So yeah, let's start this off with number 3. And number 3 on the tier list is the Worm V9. Yeah, the cube that brought me to the finals, literally my main cube, my favorite cube, not number 1. That's crazy, but trust me, I can explain. So as I said earlier, this cube is currently my main, my favorite cube, and the cube that brought me to finals for the first time, and probably the only time ever. This cube is really fast, but also really stable. It's what I love so much about it. And that's the thing. If you go back to my definition of tiers, technically this should be an A tier, because you have to tell me you like fast cubes before I can recommend this to you. But you know, I'm kind of biased, so I put it S tier. So yeah, this number 3, the Worm V9, definitely get this cube. It's an amazing purchase. You'll most likely can't go wrong with it. Alright, number 2 is the RS3M 2020. Yeah, the cube that I put this over the Super RS3M. Why did I do that? I just like it more. I think that this cube feels a bit more premium, surprisingly. The Super RS3M feels kind of cheap, And again, it takes more effort to set up, but I think this cube just really is just a really good performer, whether with or without setup, and you can't go wrong with this. So yeah, especially if you're starting out, get the RCM 2020. But if you're in the more top level cubers, I guess you can skip this. You probably have one anyway. All right, this is it. The number one cube. Actually, I'm not even gonna add suspense. We all know it's the X-Man Tornado V3. She absolutely destroyed it with this cube. Like, I don't even get it, bro. Ever, like, for some reason, she like pulls up in the speed cubing market again in 2021 with the Tornado V2. Everyone's like, it's alright. And then next year, 2022, they were like, alright, here's the Tornado V3. And everyone went, woo! Like, Jesus Christ, I still don't get how they made a cube this good. And this isn't my main anymore, but I love solving on this from time to time. If you're someone who just came back to the whole speed cubing thing, or you're looking for your first flagship and you don't really have a well-developed taste in cubes yet, the Tornado V3 will either be the perfect way for you to know what type of cube you want, or it is literally the cube that will set you up for the entirety of your speed cubing career. And I generally don't get how they're gonna top this year, if they will, because they did release a UV coated Pioneer Tornado V3, although it wasn't in the first half of 2023, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, number one, the Tornado V3. Is that a surprise? Absolutely not. But yeah, that wraps up the tier list. Here's what the final list looks like. And wow, cubes are incredible. And yeah, I'm excited because we already have some newly announced releases, such as, of course, the GAN 14 and whatever Chi wants to cook, and whatever cube brand will come out of the shadows to challenge the big three. Though I don't think they're gonna do. No cube company is gonna be challenging Moyuchi again anytime soon. But either way, I'd like to see them try. And again, that wraps up this tier list. Thank you all so much for watching. And yeah, I'll be seeing you guys next time. Bye.